My name is Douglas Miano. I work for the University of Nairobi, and what we will be discussing is about a project that is being led by the Kenya Agriculture and Livestock Research Organization. This is about development of cassava that is resistant to diseases, and mainly the two diseases that affect cassava are caused by viruses. We have cassava brown streak disease that affects the roots, and we have cassava mosaic disease that affects the leaves. So this work has been going on for a while now. We started in 2008 when we realized that the cassava is being destroyed a lot by the cassava brown streak disease. This is a disease that was common in the coast region, but with years it has come into the upper highlands, especially the western region of Kenya, extending all the way to Uganda, and that is the area where cassava is mainly grown. When we started the work, there was no source of resistance to cassava brown streak disease, the one that affects the roots. So, and in our deliberations, we thought that we can use the modern sciences, and that is the modern biotechnology. And we specifically selected, among other technologies, we selected the use of genetic engineering, and that's why we developed the current varieties that they are now under test. The stage in which we are in now is that we have been able to develop varieties which are ready to go to the next step. How did we go about this? So the science itself is that we are using the viruses that infect cassava to trigger the resistance in cassava against the same virus. And this is what is known as the gene silencing technology. The line that we developed and selected for resistance to cassava brown streak disease, we picked other farmer preferred varieties and we crossed them with the one that we have developed for resistance. And after the crossing, then we have needed to select the varieties that come out of, the progenies that come out of those crosses, and they are showing resistance to the two diseases. Resistance to cassava brown streak disease, which was developed using the modern biotechnology, and the resistance to cassava mosaic disease that was inherited through natural selection or through the natural breeding. So after we did the crossing, we were able to get over 3,000 seeds. And all those 3,000 seeds, they were potential varieties, but it didn't mean that they had all the qualities that we needed. So with that, we went to a process of selecting the ones that have the traits that we're interested in. We narrowed those from in the greenhouse to about 300, and those 300 are the ones that we brought to the field and subjected them to the disease pressure in the natural environment. And after the first screening, we were able to reduce those to about 50 of them. And through the screening process, we reduced them again to 16 of the best performers, until where we are now. We have said that out of the crosses, we have about 8 varieties that we can advance to the national performance trials.
On this project, we do have a biosafety component. Now, the biosafety component complies with the national biosafety rules that were set up by the biosafety law. We have been able to move materials from the greenhouse to the confined field trial where we evaluate the material. This material is moved after approval by the National Biosafety Authority, and it's normally escorted by a biosafety officer. When we get to the field where we carry out our confined field trials, we do a training at the beginning of every event, be it planting or harvesting or even data collection, where the workers on the site are given a refresher course on biosafety compliance.
As ISA AfriCenter, we are providing communication support services to the project, VACA Plus. Now, what does the communication support entail? We have 2 components. We have the internal communications and we have external communications. Internal communications involve preparing the teams that are directly engaged and involved in the project activities. So the scientists, we train them on science communication. Very important to break down the technical jargon into simple messages that can easily get understood by the stakeholders they're going to interact with. Now, when it comes to external communications, we have various groups. One, we have, for example, the local leaders who request that they would like to see a genetically modified crop, and this has been a very important component of VACA Plus in contributing towards demystifying this technology. The other group category that we reach out to are the policy makers, the decision makers at both the national and the county government level. The other external group that we have been interacting with very closely is the media fraternity, very focused exposure and engagement, where we have what we call the pairing. We have been pairing scientists with the journalists, select journalists who have an interest in reporting agriculture and science. And that way, the scientists have been able to understand better how media works, and then the journalists understand better what it takes and the pains of a scientist to ensure that they bring a safe product.
The roadmap has been, or the path has been, has taken time, over 10 years, but in each and every stage of this, it has been, we have seen one milestone after the other. For one of the biggest achievements is the fact that we have developed capacity for, even for the young scientists who can continue with this work. We have developed the networks with different institutions. We have also been able to learn the rules and the regulations of this work. And our interaction with all these scientists has been very, very helpful.
The key achievement of the project is that we have been able to have compliance to the National Biosafety Authority rules according to the Biosafety Law. We have been able to carry out our research in 3 sites in compliance with the biosafety laws set by National Biosafety Authority. Because of this, we have been able to apply for environmental release from National Biosafety Authority, and they have been able to give us that approval based on the environmental and food and feed safety.
And this is a big achievement, considering that this is not an activity that involved private sector, it is public sector. With all these challenges, we've been able to deliver the first cassava that has been developed using modern biotechnology for resistance to cassava brown streak disease all over the world. We are the first ones, and I think this is a big achievement for KARO. It's a big achievement for the Kenyan scientists. It's a big achievement for National Biosafety Authority, and it's a big achievement also for the other institutions that are involved in all this work. And I think as a country, we should be proud that we've been able to participate and work together with the national, regional, and international scientists to come up and solve a problem which is a major challenge to our farmers.
We have been able to develop a product, take it through evaluation, both in the greenhouse and in the field, over several seasons in different locations, and we will be able to give this product to the farmer, and this is to improve food security.
We can say that we have a lot of hope. The varieties are highly resistant to both diseases. They are high performance, so the yield production is very, very high. At least we can confirm that if proper agronomic practices are followed, we will move from where we've been, we can be able to get more than 50 tons per hectare. At least we can promise the farmer that even with the normal agronomic practices, we can be able to achieve more than 30 tons per hectare. And the limit is, the upper limit is very high.